That's very nice.
Okay, hello Beatrice. This is your one-to-one lessons, part of your full year in the Fair Play Harp School, and I'm recording this for you so you can watch it again. So if you're watching again, hi Beatrice later. But for now, we are working on this, aren't we? And you've sent me the music, so thank you. So it's for your friend's wedding. It's for the signing of the register, isn't it? That's what you told me.
Yes, yeah. It's just quick, not a big thing because she's got other musicians there from the church. But I think she just wanted, I'm in her home group and she wanted me to do it. And I thought, I have to do it.
It's
even
lovely,
if I'm very scared.
It will be wonderful. It will be wonderful. And do you know, are you first? I suspect you will be, won't you? As soon as they go off to sign, you'll be the
no.
first. No? Okay.
I'm not sure when it comes in. I haven't seen the thing. She just said when she's signing, and she's signing in the church, so it won't take very long.
Yeah.
So so I don't think, I just tried to find out how I could get into it, you know.
Yes.
And so when I put those chords there, you have to tell me if that's a good idea or not.
Yes, I think it will be. Could we just adjust the angle very slightly on your camera, if possible, so I can see both your hands, Beatrice, please? If that's
how do I do it, up or down? You don't have to see me.
Well,
you just have to see the hands.
I definitely like to see the hands as well. Sometimes
do I have to go further back?
I think you might need to go further back, if that's okay. Yeah, that would be brilliant. Yeah, a bit further back again. Yeah, and then bring
even
that up.
further.
Yeah, and I think now it will work. Let's have a look. Yeah, I know it's really hard when you've got your music and you got the record. That's great. Yeah, no, I can see now. That's lovely. Okay, so brilliant. Yeah, that looks great. So what I thought, I mean, it sounds like you thought exactly the same thing. I thought that it would be nice for me to talk to you about how you might, begin and end it, and then just, if you're okay to play it for me, then I can just look and see if there's anything that might make your life easier while you are playing as well. So would you be up for playing it to me to start with?
Yeah.
Do you feel that
okay?
Yeah, and I totally understand it's a work in progress and it will be beautiful, whatever. So just, give it a go and keep going if it doesn't quite go to plan.
Okay.
Okay, brilliant.
Sorry, I've lost that.
You're doing great. It's beautiful. Really beautiful.
I've lost it now.
You're fine.
sorry, that second part.
It's fine. It's okay.
It's
That was
not
beautiful. No, it's a work in progress, and that's totally fine. Don't worry at all. And you were doing it without the music, weren't you? Because I saw you then look back at the
Yes.
music when you lost your place. And sometimes
And
there's
I
this
couldn't find it.
right. Okay. Well, that's an interesting point. Okay, fine. This is lovely. So first of all, I want to say, Beatrice, if you went and played it in church today and you played it the same way you played it for me, minus the talking, it would be beautiful. Okay, because you know, if you lose your place, you know, you would, if you just carry on without saying any words, you know this because you play the organ as well, don't you? So you know, it would be okay. It wouldn't, you know, hardly anyone would know, and it's just charming and delightful that you are friends and that you're playing. So first of all, you know that this is absolutely beautiful the way you did it. I like the way that you've got your introduction. I like the way that you've put the simplified version first so everyone can really hear it. And you played that music, the melody very lyrically. I loved your phrasing, and you know, I thought you really sung the tune, which is, as you know, something I'm big on. I love that you've then got the second arrangement where you've added in something else. You've changed it so it doesn't sound the same, so we don't get sort of fatigue for it from our ears, very like, oh, we're hearing the same thing. You put it the octave higher, and you've added in harmony, which is beautiful too. And then you put the ending on, which was also really nice. So going back to the first line, I put the music in front. I love the chords at the beginning, and I would encourage you to make even more of your introduction. Just because it gives you, you know, when people think of harp, I think, you know, often they think of, you know, beautiful arpeggios, and they think of glissandos and things, and it gives you this moment, which you know, you've already started the idea of it, but to satiate their desire to hear that on the harp, if you know what I mean, by doing lots of floaty bits. And then giving the tune, because, you know, as we know, music is, you know, carrying a melody is also really important. So I just wonder whether you might want to make more of it. And interestingly, I hadn't realized that was an introduction, and I just had to play around with using just the first 4 chords, and so maybe you could add to it. But I was, you know, thinking, you know, you got those first 4 chords, even if you just did your arpeggios like you did, but you could use the B flat, you could come back to the F, and then you could use the C. And you could even do that twice, you know. So I'd love to work on the introduction, just see if we can make it bigger for you, if you're up for that. And if you're not, that's fine. If you're up,
I'm up for that.
Yeah, okay. And the only other thing is, if you really wanted people to kind of go, you know, don't forget that I know to us it's boring, but a glissando on the dominant before you come in might be fun as well, but you don't have to, you know, that depends on taste and everything. It might be a bit too schmaltzy. So let's go. Can you show me your introduction as it was, and then we'll go and work on in segments. So show me what you did again, because it was beautiful. I just would love to hear more.
Then I just did.
Lovely, fantastic. And I think at the end you did something quite similar, didn't you? And you had those, I liked at the end that you used the same sort of idea, but you were very bold with the chords to finish. So I think that's lovely. Shall we see if we can double it in length? What do you reckon? Should we just see if we can do, if you do the floaty chords twice? And I'm just curious, and you, again, you know, this is just totally something you don't have to do, but I wonder, on the first 4 chords of the piece, I've just shut it, but I think it was, does it go F, B flat, F, C?
F, flat and C.
So you could take the first 4 chords, so that, because then it's not quite as obvious as going chord 1, chord 4, chord 5. You could go chord 1, 4, 1, 5. It's sort of more teasy. It's up to you. You could, so that was F, B flat, F, C, and then maybe do a second run. Just try it. I mean, if you don't like it, fine. And you know, I don't want to mix you up really on what you've done.
No, I think that's probably good. And I need 3 chords, because obviously use the small harp, because I can't take the other one.
No, the big one, So I mean, just use your whole harp. I mean, you can really, because it's an introduction, you can, you know, really allow people to hear the first note is something that I do. Again, this is a style thing, so you can you might not like it, but I often, when I'm doing something like you're doing a floaty introduction like that, I'll do the first note, and I'll be very deliberate. I'll be like, in, listen everybody, there's the harp begun, here comes the rest of it. So I'm not worrying about the timing. I'm more allowing people to hear the instrument, particularly if it's the first piece I play.
Yeah.
Because they'll be on the edge of their seats. They're gonna be like, oh, Beatrice is playing the harp to us, so let them really hear you. So take it really slow.
Okay.
And I think yesterday we were talking about, was it yesterday, that idea of if there were children in a school and you were playing to them, you want them to be, if you got them all to close their eyes and you were like, put your hand up as soon as you hear the first note, you want it to be really beautiful and round and resonant. So yeah, give it a good squeeze and pause on it, and then let's hear those chords again. So we're going to double it as well, aren't we? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Then the B.
Yeah, try the B flat there. And then back.
And again the B.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it that way. I was more thinking that you would do the do F, B flat, F, and then C, and then repeat the cycle, F, B. So I was more thinking that you do one of each chord, but do double the whole thing just to make it longer. But it would work either way.
Would it be difficult for you? I really worked hard on writing it out, and I couldn't do those chords writing out.
Okay. Lovely. So I tell you what, when I'm playing a chord like that, if I'm wanting to play certain notes, I will, I'm a big sucker for saying things to myself. So I might be saying literally all the way up, I might be going A, C, F, A, C, F, A, C, F. So in my head, I would be telling myself the notes. So you could try that too.
Okay, I think I might write this down.
Okay, I'm happy to take notes for you, Beatrice, if you'd like me to.
Yeah, oh yes, that would be.
Would you like me to do it for you? Yeah, that's fine. And then you can carry on playing.
Please, that would be lovely.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Just give me a moment. I'll open up Sibelius. Okay. But I suppose what
I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, well, what you're doing is fine. So I'm just trying to get you to do more of what you were already doing rather than trying to make it different or more complicated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's try one more time. So don't try and necessarily copy what I was doing, but just let's try doing the chord of F. Sorry, that's Sibelius, ain't we? That was great. I don't know whether you could hear that, but that was loads of music. Okay, so just try doing the F, B flat, F, and C, just those 4 chords in a row in any way you like. Yeah.
F, E flat.
So F, B flat, F, C. It's the first 4 chords of the piece. Just taking those first 4 chords.
And that again.
Yeah, and then do the whole thing again, because that's beautiful, and then do it again. Yeah. Beautiful, fantastic. Okay, so it's just doubling your introduction, really, just giving people more time to hear you before the melody comes in, because for lots of people that's the thing they like about the harp best, isn't it, is hearing those arpeggios. So brilliant. Okay, so if we've doubled that, the only and I liked your chords that you did. I was also wondering whether you might want to consider doing an octave C in the bass and then a glissando up to a top C before you actually start. Okay. So take an octave in the left and squeeze the octave C
in the C.
So octave C on the left, and then take a glissando with your right hand, then following on from, I'm on an octave in the bass C for me, and then I'm playing on the D coming up, and I'm going to glissando, and then probably with the other hand take that top C. So a left as the C is the bottom, glissandos, and then a top C in the top of the harp.
And from here, really.
I would gliss from where you stop. Yeah, lovely. I would actually start the glissando from the neighbouring note, from the note next to where your left has just played the octave. So you get that C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Brilliant. And I'm only really suggesting this because, you know, you're playing for a wedding and you're playing to create more magic and more emotion and for everyone to go, ah, and, you know, people will just be, for you, that's the easiest thing in the world to do. But for somebody listening to the harp, they're like, oh, I've just heard the harp glissando, you know, so that if you don't feel like it, that's fine. But it's a curious gift to people to play a glissando, even though to us it's simple, I think, for lots of people. Okay. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. So yeah, so you've got your chord, you've got your F, and I think you were sticking to the 3, then the C, and then going F again, B flat, and then C, and then you could do your chords that you did, which I'm not sure what it was it C? And then you could do your octave and yes. Then you've got a big introduction, haven't you?
Yeah.
Okay, should we try it? Let's put the whole thing together.
If I can still remember.
I know, don't worry, I am going to make some notes for you.
I find it very difficult. I don't find it difficult at the piano, but I find it difficult to find the chords in the right. I just can't think the harp.
Okay. Well, maybe on the piano you're watching, you know, you've got the groups of 3 and 2 on the black notes, haven't you? And I suspect you're really used to that. On the harp, I mean, use the coloured strings. I mean, I don't know how you think in your head about it, but I still, to this day, literally, genuinely, if I was doing this piece, I would be thinking black string, 1 below the red, black string, red, you know, I mean, literally, I use the colors. So just like, you know, as when we were a child, we learned to decode the piano if we start when we're young, don't we? With the, I think the white and the black and where our fingers go. So allow your brain to do the same thing with the harp. Use those colored strings as the markers, and then talk out loud if you don't mind when you're practicing, and then in your head when you're playing. That's how I do it, because as you know, I'm dyslexic, so actually saying letter names doesn't really help me either. It just frazzles my brain, so I've had to find ways around it. So anyway,
I think I'm a bit dyslexic too, but not in your way, more in my memory way. It's in my family, I know.
Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, maybe try doing, you know, thinking of it differently, then maybe try the colors and see if it helps. Because I can now visually see shapes on the harp because, you know, I'm very big on this muscle memory idea as well. And I think these are all things I've done to help myself. So yeah, memorizing the shapes, and then, you know, if I look, I can see where the first inversion F is on the harp because I've got used to thinking of it in shapes and colors. So yeah, you could work on that side and see if that might help. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Let's do this massive introduction now. Okay. Remember that big note at the beginning? You're saying, hey, I'm here. Isn't this beautiful? Listen to this one note. Aren't harps amazing? That's what you're saying with that first note.
And then it was, no, I think I can't remember if it's the C chord then.
Well, do you know, I almost think that actually that you could save the chords for the ending and just do the glissando at this point, because then the
glissando, okay.
Because then you're keeping all the floaty stuff at the beginning, and then the chords will make everybody really know you've finished. Actually,
but do it twice, okay.
So yeah, maybe do it twice, and then put your glissando. So try your octave now. Brilliant, lovely, fantastic. Okay, and then you would be ready to present the melody. So with all of that, you know, I love that kind of showing the note. You did that really nicely. I love that you've got some, you know, you've clearly got a plan with some little falling notes and things as well. It's not just the arpeggios. It's really.
I don't know quite how to write it down. That's my. I
I mean,
try.
I'm very happy to show you. I mean, I would what are we doing?
But then I can learn it
Yeah, I'm
by
not
heart.
sure what rhythm you were, what time signature you were presenting it in. That's all.
It was 3/4. The song in 3/4.
1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 1. Do you think it was about like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so a 1 and a 2 and I think you're doing triplets maybe then. 1 and a 2 and yeah, triplet. Butterfly, 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 wait, and then butterfly, 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 wait. Does that then fit with the tune coming in? Does that make sense? Let's have a look.
Yes.
Let's go find music. 1, 2. It doesn't matter because it's an introduction anyway. By the time you've broken it up with a glissando. By the way, as well, I mustn't spend too long on the introduction, but you can, you know, really, you could really go for that. And the braver you feel about that, the more people are going to go, oh, it's a harp. So if you can, if you can do both hands and just go up and then slow back down, then they're going to be so ready for your melody by that point. They're just going to be hungry for it. So I encourage you to really go for it with that. Okay, I will. I would write those down as triplets. What you were doing. I'm not 100% sure of the notes that you were doing, but I will write something down for you, and then you can sing it if you like. Okay. Okay. Right. When you went into the melody, as I say, I felt you were very musical with it, and it was lovely. Okay. Mm-hmm. I could go into placing and technique now, but because it's quite soon, I'm actually going to keep going, not talking about that now. The more we place and the more we put concentrate our fingers down, the easier it is to play with flow. But you did a really nice job. I would just say, think about the volume of it. So I know it's, I
was timid.
It's beautiful and lyrical, but remember that even if you played fortissimo and with your harp in a big space, it's still it's more louds and softs on the harp and more about the atmosphere that we're creating with the way we're playing, particularly if we're trying to fill a space with our harps. So you can still play lyrically and in the style. If you think of rather than loud and quiet as in hard and soft almost, if you play it softly but still with a loud volume, I think that would be a nice, you'll be heard better and have more presence. So I'd just like to hear the beginning of this, with you really squeezing all the strings and allowing again the bass note at the beginning of beat 1 to really come through, so that everybody hears the hears the chord position easily. You're helping people who don't know about necessarily chord stuff and things just to hear the harmony, aren't you, by doing that? So really squeeze in the left hand, the fourth finger, and make the whole thing just that bit stronger. Strong and soft is good, isn't it? Yeah, stronger but still feeling lyrical. Okay. Brilliant. That's beautiful. Is there any more in that harp in you? That was absolutely beautiful. Is there any more volume? Sorry, that's what I was meaning. Is there any more? Okay. Imagine you're a tenor and you're standing there and you're going to sing for everyone. So yeah, change your you can even I often find even if I change my posture and everything, then it really helps me really make the tune come out even more. So
I'm a bit of a timid person. That's what it is.
That's really okay. And believe it or not, I know you're going to not believe me, but so am I. I know you're not going to believe me, but that is true, and it's on camera now. I have worked a lot to kind of not be. Do you know the way I got over? One of the ways I got around sort of being a very timid player was to be. And I think maybe you might be similar to me on this, but was to realize that my performance is about them, not about me. Yeah. So what the gift that you're giving by playing your music to everyone, you are giving everyone a gift. It's not hey, look at me, I'm playing, which I think I'm very uncomfortable with, and always have been. It's kind of here is music. Let it heal you, make you happy, let you cry, whatever you need to do. And somehow that helps me be able to really, really perform. So yeah, I encourage you to allow your body to show, you know, to be giving the gift to everyone. And I know this is a little bit, you know, hit down the hippie route, but I think it's really important. So yeah, so let's take a deep breath. Allow your posture to show that you're about to, you know, do this, play this beautiful, and it's beautiful. I love this melody. I didn't know it. It's gorgeous. And then let's let your whole body show the song as well. So one more time, as big as you can be, remembering it's about the people who are listening and about the wedding day of your friend. It's not actually, I mean, it is about you. Of course it is, Beatrice, and I love your playing dearly, but you understand what I'm trying to say, I'm sure. So,
I don't want it to be about me. I want
no. Yeah,
I want to enjoy it.
Yes, yeah. And
at the moment, I'm not enjoying it enough because I'm scared.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay. Well, the being scared thing is another whole thing, isn't it? But I think again, for me, and you know, there's so many people that will talk about ways to perform in different ways, but again, for me, one of the big things is to remind myself it's about them and not about me.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, it's not about you know, when I'm playing, I have been through many years of because of the way music's set up and the way music colleges are and things, you know, I've spent many years sat there sort of thinking, oh, people are only going to think about, you know, did I make a mistake? Did I hesitate? Did I buzz? Did I blah, blah, blah? And actually, I've made peace with that by thinking anybody who thinks like that, then they're missing music. They're missing actual music. And so what the rest of the people, the 95% who are really just there to feel, to have emotion for music, to have enjoyment for music, they're the ones we're playing to. And so that, you know, it doesn't we need to throw away all the baggage and all the concern and all the worry about all those things and just allow the melody to come out. And it's, you know, you are what's the word, you're a being for it to come through for people, you know, you're just facilitating this experience for other people, and whatever you do will be beautiful. And no one is going, you know, if 5% or 1% of people there, you know, notice a hesitation, then that's sad for them, but the other people will have had a beautiful experience, and that's what you've got to focus on. So yeah, for me, really kind of turning it around to being about the audience, about the people who are there for the love of music and not for perfection, because it's not very interesting as it is, it really, you know. I've sat with people in concerts where afterwards the only thing they've said to me is, oh, did you notice she made a mistake in the foray and, you know, on the sixth page? And I'm like, and I sit there and I'm like, wow. I don't say it, but I think, wow, you've been sat there waiting for someone to trip, and that's I've sat here and I've, like, you know, had this like ethereal journey while I was listening to them, and so it's those people that we're playing to. The other people, bless them, have missed the point. So we can't help those guys, so we're going to help everyone else, and that is the majority of the people who are listening at any time.
So basically, enjoy it and forget about myself. And
and the more that you love the tune and the more you're inside the tune, the less anything else matters as well. So, you know, I can hear your phrasing is beautiful. You know, you the way you're playing the melody when it's just the melody is making my heart melt. So, you know, allow to just be inside the tune, and it will block out the noise a bit for you, I think. If you get you know, if you get the little person on your shoulder, you know, I find if I absolutely go into the melody and just try and forget everything else, it blocks out that as well. There we are. I'm no psychologist, but at all, obviously, but those are my thoughts. So let's have it one more time. Let's you know, take a deep breath, really be ready, and just play it as you know, as beautifully and as giving out to the world as you feel you can. Okay. That was gorgeous. I'm going to stop you there. That was absolutely beautiful. How did you feel playing at that time?
I'm trying to forget myself, try to enjoy the music, just go into it.
Beautiful.
I need to practice that. I think
did you feel it a bit? I mean, did that work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I mean,
that was actually very, very helpful what you said.
Okay, and good. I'm glad. Okay.
It's making more music.
Yes.
And I want to achieve to make music, not just to play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you know, playing something perfectly without music is can only be impressive. That's the only thing it can be. Whereas
Yeah.
playing something musically with some mistakes can be, you know, yeah, can make us cry, can make us laugh, can make us
Yeah.
at peace, can, you know, all these things. So, you know, which would you choose? Which would you choose? You know, it's not the way we're taught, and it's something I've come to through a long journey myself. So, you know,
Yeah.
actually feel quite emotional talking to you about it. Okay, so what should we do? So there was one other thing I was going to say, and then we'll move on because I know I'm okay. So I would also encourage you to play that slower. That's the one other thing I would say.
Okay. Okay.
So you know, if you can think of how it would be sung, of course, and you can be singing it in your head because that helps the phrasing. But even I would suggest, you know, then take it a smidge under tempo as well, because again, you know, if you're going to be in a church, you're going to have all the beautiful acoustics. Allow everybody to hear the resonance of your harp and to hear all the sound. If you play it fast, it will be beautiful anyway, and it won't matter because we've all played fast. You know, I'm bad at that. You know, we all played fast when we didn't mean to. But if you, the slower you play it, the more lyrical it will seem, and the more that acoustic is going to be allowed to carry you as well. So that's just another thought. Okay, right, next bit. So I would love, before you go into the second version of tune, I would encourage you to put something in between. Okay, I would so again, like a palate cleanser, or a bit where you can relax and just play something that's easy for you, or and also just to kind of you know, elongate it as well. So you could do the introduction again. That would be the easiest thing to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
so do you think that might be something you would consider?
Yeah. Yes, I actually even now thought
Yeah, you need something in between.
something else in it.
Yes, yeah. And again, it's so that people can relax and be like, oh, that tune was beautiful, and here are those lovely chords again, and what's she going to do next, you know? So, you know, rather than throwing everything at everyone, it kind of gives us space to really relax and enjoy it. And at a wedding, at a signing of register, this is like beautiful thing to do. So I think to keep your life really easy, why don't you just repeat your introduction? You could you know, maybe not do the glissando, maybe you could just do the arpeggios the second time. Okay, and then go into the second melody. So okay, that's great. So with the second melody,
that worries me a lot more, the second.
okay, yeah. So I you don't have to, again, you know, anything I say, I won't mind in the slightest if you decide is not a good idea. So right, one thing, this, I think you've read church music a lot, haven't you?
Yes.
So you're used to reading from hymn books.
I can read it well.
Yeah.
Can't place it well on the harp.
Okay, yes, because you're used to doing it on the
piano, because I'm used to it, but not on the harp.
I shall tell you a story that is very vivid in my memory, where I was in my harp teacher's house when I was at university, and I had been asked to play a hymn at a wedding. You know, be asked to play like my normal things or the stuff that I was working on or whatever, and then they'd specifically asked me for a hymn, and I'd only got the hymn book, and the hymn book has the soprano, alto, tenor, bass writing, doesn't it? It's like you've done here with the stems up and the stems down. And I don't know whether it's to do with my dyslexia or just like because I hadn't met it before, I couldn't read this really like simple hymn from the way it was written. I couldn't cope with the stems up and stems down. And I remember her husband, my harp teacher's husband, who was they were both principals of different orchestras for their instrument. He was like principal trombonist in Birmingham for something ballet, I think. He came in, he went, call yourself a harpist, you can't even play a simple hymn. He literally came in and said that to me, and I mean, I was mortified. I was so upset, and I went away and I was thinking about, you know, you meet so much stuff like this on your journeys if you're not careful, don't you? And years back later, I figured out it was because I couldn't cope with the way it was written. If it had been written out with the stems all going in one direction, I would have found it easier. So I'm mentioning this to you, Beatrice, I think because you are a hardened pro at reading music like this, it's not a problem for you. But just in case, I will just put it in to Sibelius, showing it with the stems the way we would for harp music, just to see if it's easier for you. Okay.
Yeah.
And it might not be, you might think that makes no difference to me, but I told you that story just so that you understand, because I always just think, no one cares what we're reading from, no one cares how we learned the music. It just matters about the music coming out when we do it, doesn't it? So anything we can do to make our lives easier in the process, if it comes up. So okay,
I just wasn't able to write it that way because
you've written, I would struggle to do it the way you've written it, because that is an art form in itself. That's showing the soprano and alto line, so it's really great you can do that. That's a huge skill in itself. So I'm not trying to, I promise I'm trying to encourage you with this. It's just I wanted you to know that I might be making it harder. So and then the second thing I was going to say, that when we're playing on the piano, which by the way I'm terrible at, but I did study piano, these different moving around on the shapes is slightly easier, I think, than when we're swapping between sixths and fifths and thirds. It doesn't seem to come quite as naturally. So this is the idea that I'm going to suggest that you are very welcome to ignore. I'm just curious, how does it sound if I do this instead? So imagine this was the first version. So you got something like this. Sorry about the buzzes. And then if I go over to the second version, how about if I went sorry. So what I've taken out there is I've taken out doing the harmony and having to bop around, and I put in octaves instead. Or alternatively, how about if it was so what I'm suggesting to you here is, I'm sure you get what I mean, is that actually just by taking it up the octave, we're changing the way it sounds on our harps dramatically. And that's probably enough for a performance. And it would take out you having to do all the switching and changing, and I think it would make you relax much more. And
I would like it. I tried to do the chords just like that. Just a chord.
Oh, just an octave in the left, you mean?
Yeah, but I found it almost easier. I'm not sure if that's because of the piano.
You want to do that? Okay, yeah.
I mean, I like the other. It would make it a bit different.
It would, yes. And so I don't want, this is what I mean. I don't want to kind of suggest you don't do it. So what you've, so going back to what you have written, I mean, what it sounded like to me is just that it was, because you were thinking about the switching of inversion, of shapes in the right hand. It was at the moment, until it's practiced more and it's a work in progress, it was making the melody hesitant.
And
I wasn't
absolutely.
And I wasn't hearing the melody. When you play it just as a single line, it's very, very lyrical. And when you played it the second version, because you're thinking about the shapes, it became, I'm playing these notes, I'm playing these notes, I'm playing these notes, which, because we play the harp, actually sounds beautiful anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But I loved your really, really musical rendition the first time. So
would it be an idea to do just the top line again, just tie it up and just the chords?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. If you were up for that idea. I mean, I don't want to take away this, your lovely arrangement, because it's great, but it just might make you, I just think that you want
it would make me more relaxed.
Yeah.
It would be better.
I'm just curious, how are you playing, how are triad chords for you? If you play triad chords, are they come naturally to you?
Oh.
Those are really nice for you. Those are easy for you. Okay, just to make it, this will make it harder. But how is it if you go? Can you arpeggiate the triad shape?
Just the 3, yeah.
Yeah, and do the 3 higher up as well. How's that for you? Sorry, not the, keep the melody where it was, Beatrice, but then bring your left hand, use your left hand as high as you can then fit in under the melody.
It's a bit close. I have to do
Yeah,
one
bring it
lower.
down then. So just bring it down when you need to. Yeah, doesn't matter. It just. Well, that was beautiful. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, that
was
possibly
gorgeous.
would be better.
Yeah.
Do you think you could do it right for me on Sibelius?
I'll see if I can. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yes, I will
But
try.
I will
That was. But the thing is, I won't. The only thing is that I'm reluctant to do is because I was getting you to just play those arpeggios where you wanted and rhythmically the way you wanted to. And if I write it down, you'll think, oh, I've got to do that there and that there and that there. But what I love about your playing, Beatrice, is because you've got used to playing your way around the piano in your own way. You don't find it hard. If I'd said to somebody, could you go, lots of harpists, if I said, could you go first time play it like that and the next time go, you can mix up the rhythm in your left with no problem, and your ear, because you're musical, your ear is telling you when to change it. So I would hate to take that away, if you see what I mean, but I can write some scraps down and then you can make up your mind. But
because actually then I can remember.
Yes,
eventually it goes in my finger. It will become finger muscles anyway.
Yes, it will. Muscle memory.
I really need to do that because
okay,
that's the only way.
So
I think I'd rather scrap this.
Yeah, well, and this is, you see, this is I mean, this is lovely writing, but I just think because it's quite soon, I just you're playing musically and lyrically. And finally, the last comment I'm going to make is that, by the playing like this, I write like this. You've seen me write like this as well. But actually having the little high up arpeggios is again more harpy, and you're playing to people who are going to be like, wow, Beatrice is playing the harp to us. So you're allowing them to hear lovely harp arpeggios, which is another gift that you are going to be giving. Okay, so finally, signing the register. I know you're not sure if you're going first or if it's just you during the signing. It probably will last longer, possibly may last longer, I would have said, than these 2 runs. So maybe, after you've done that second one high up, you could then do your introduction again, whatever you decide to do there, and then you could actually come back down the octave. Let me find down the octave version, and play a really bold. So can you hear? I've just taken that 1-5-8 thing that you were doing in the left, and I blocked them, and I'm trying to really go. Here's the melody. It's Amazing Grace. I remember I used to always play when I was doing the music in hospitals gigs, and I always used to, the last time for Amazing Grace, I take it down really low, and I do all these floaty things and then take it down low, and I used to make myself cry because it's just stripped back to this its simplest form and this melody. So I think that's a really powerful way of presenting a melody as well, and it's simple. It's not something you're going to have to work at. So would you like to just try reading from your melody sheet, just the lead sheet version, and then play it very slow and very bold, and try block chords on beat 1. See if you like it. It might not be for you.
And now at lower or higher?
Back down lower. So this is like your 3rd run of the piece now. You're on run 3, yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm just going to pause you there. So Beatrice, that's beautiful. You're down low, but I'm going to ask you to play block chords. So try this time, so it's a different way again. Da, 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 1, 5, 8, block. And I can't see your left, but could you tip your hand down? So bring your hand into the downward position. I'm trying not to talk about technique because I don't want to distract you with too much, but bring your hand down and squeeze into your hand so you get a really strong, powerful bass line. Yeah? Yeah? So place the 1, 5, 8 and squeeze. As a block chord, Beatrice, would you just...
A block chord?
Yeah, just try your left on its own. Just play me that on its own for a second. Play me F, C, F at the same time.
F, C, F.
F, C, F, yep.
F, C,
So
F,
forget the
okay.
right hand, just the left hand, just the left hand. Yes, and play that a few times for me. Good. And really bring your fingers into your palm of your hand and relax in between. Brilliant. Okay. So okay. When you watch, if you watch the replay, you can have a look at what I'm doing. I've got my thumb up, my fingers down. I'm squeezing into the hands and then relaxing. Yeah. Then you go to the D 158, the B F B. Oh, sorry about the buzz. Yeah. How does that feel? Is that easy or is that a bit tricky?
No, I could do that. That would be. I just didn't know what you were talking.
That's okay. No, it's fine. I didn't
understand. You know, I'm very slow.
No, I didn't explain it very well. Okay, let's try then just a little tiny bit of the melody with that then.
Yeah.
And take your time and really sing this melody. Slow it down. Really allow every note to ring. Enjoy. Put your enjoyment into hearing the resonance of the strings. Okay. Beautiful. Now, when you move up to this next bit of the melody on this third run through that I'm imagining you doing, you might want to split the left hand now, but keep it low. So, or you could keep it the same, but maybe, like maybe go back. You might like to, or you might decide you keep it bold all the way through. I think I would mix in that second bit.
Yeah.
Maybe go back to the block chords in a moment. Maybe try block here, block, go back to the block. Yeah.
What?
B flat, is it? Yeah. Brilliant. And on that last, that was gorgeous. And on that last one, sorry, you might want to go back to your arpeggios. Sorry, you might, you could go straight.
Yeah,
So
that would go straight in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I could do that.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
So do you want it loud or?
I think yeah, make it loud so they know you finished, because here's the other thing that, you know, I know you're not going to believe me. I am a timid performer, or I have been anyway. I've had to work out of it. I think I'm not anymore, but I really was. And something else that I realized is people want to applaud. And they may not in church, because that depends on the church and everything. But generally, you know, if you've heard someone play, you want to be able to clap them. So therefore, you want to know when they finished. Yeah. So actually, you know, you got, so your job is to make it so it's really obvious you finished, so that people can go and clap you and do what then that's their expression of thanks to you. And we have to, you know, this is something Deborah taught me actually, is like, you have to let people be able to take that time to thank you, and you have to accept it as well. And I found that really hard. She helped me a lot with that actually, but I found it really hard to kind of not kind of like talk over the applause and kind of move to the next piece, whereas to actually just stand there and be like, thank you. It's really hard. It's really hard, but it's something that we owe to people, because that's their moment. That's all they've got. That's all they can do for you is to clap. So what I'm trying to say is, yes, I think, you know, maybe make those last chords, you know, if you're going to go, and then it's really obvious you finished, and then they can clap or smile or whatever they're going to do in the church setting. Sometimes in church they don't clap, and that can be a bit disconcerting. But if that happens, you know, again, just look up and smile. And just take it.
Our church is very easygoing, not high church. It's a low church.
Oh, so they probably will be allowed to clap then.
Could be. I don't know. Not that I wait for it.
No, okay, but do, and I do encourage you to, and you know, and actually, you know, turn and smile, and look, and you know, and for you know, you've probably seen me now. You're going to know, but at the beginning and end of videos, I quite often take a moment to just pause and smile, and it's something I've learned to do, because it's kind of going, here we are, we're starting, and thank you very much, we finished. But it's something I learned to do. It's not something that's, you know, just come naturally, and I think it's good. I think it's a good thing to do. So so turn and allow everyone to see that you're thanking them for having listened to you as well, in a way, aren't you? You know. Okay, fine. So I love this. We've got the introduction, we've got the floaty gliss, so that everyone's getting they're getting their fill of big arpeggios and glisses. They're then getting the tune played beautifully down low, the tune played up high with some arpeggios, which takes the pressure off you having to learn all those inversions, you know.
I think that would be much better for me, not to have those pressures, because I mean, the other thing I actually quite like, and I just was nervous, but I can actually do it better.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. Yeah, that's great. Well, that's brilliant. And so, you know, and then you've got the third version, and then you put your ending, and you're going to make it bold, really bold, and then you're going to have poise at the end, but clearly move away from the heart with your hands. I think we should just practice that in a moment, and then look up. Okay, so let's just practice that ending. Is that okay?
Yeah. I'm just thinking it's.
Lovely, and let it ring. Yeah, that was good. I love that. Dum dum dum. But then let it ring and 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 then come in your damp. Okay, so one more time. Just do the chords and really let it ring at the end. And again, you can take time on the damp as well, so that, because then if you damp, everyone will be like, oh, she's definitely finished, and then you can come off. And again, that was beautiful. That was great. Brilliant. Bravo. Okay, I have one last thing I want to talk about, which is that, just in case, I have a hunch, from my experience signing the registers, everyone always says to you, oh, it won't take very long. And it can sometimes take quite long, quite a long time. Okay, so you may be, maybe that there's somebody else going to take over when you finish, but just in case there isn't, what have we done over and over in dynamic harps? Over and over. So if they finish, and sorry, if they haven't finished and you've finished, you can then just do, the C chord, from that the F chord, the B flat, and then you can go into C chord. And you can just play around with this pattern. It can be really slow. You could be going.
So I would have to put it in C,
Well, you wouldn't have to. You could do it in F. I don't know how your brain is on how comfortable your brain is. For some people, doing it in F would be just as easy.
I can't remember the fingering. I haven't done it for
1, 4, 1, 2. And then if you can put a C in the bass, and then F, and then a G, and then C. Okay, so it's just something that you could play around with. I'm not, I don't feel any pressure to do that, but just in case you want to be able to fill the whole time, and then it's something you already know. That's a peal of bells. It's perfect for a wedding, and you can break it up. You could do it a few times. And then you could go back to just doing chords, F, G, for a few goes round, just playing some arpeggios. And then come back to it. and mix it up, you know, do it lower, and all the ideas you've done in the ensemble like them. Anything that you're comfortable with, basically. And if you're, you know, even if you just did C gliss and F gliss, G gliss, you know, even that's fine, isn't it? You know, so that you can just that's just a thought. You don't have to do that. I generally do something like that. The reason that came about was because I generally do it when I'm playing for a wedding. If the you know, if the registrar or the vicar says, you know, that the bride is about to come in, but there's this awkward gap where you've got no idea whether it's going to be 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5. I often play a peal of bells like that and improvise around it, and it just fills a space. But the reason I'm now telling you this is because the number of times someone's come up and said, what did you play just before the bride came down the aisle? I loved it. It's like, you kind of have to go, I didn't really play anything, I just played a scale. So actually I say, don't say that. I say, oh, it was a peal of bells, la, 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 you know. So yeah, that's just something you might.
It's actually like bells. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I haven't played it since, you know, I have missed a lot of lessons.
That's okay, that's fine. Yeah, because
since we did it at Christmas.
Yes. Yes, we did. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the warm up I do every time we do the ensemble. So
yeah. I've been missing a lot.
Oh,
you know, I just find I would want to spend time with you, and I just things come. You know, I'm on my own. And people come, and sometimes it just doesn't work out.
I know it's really hard. I find it very hard to find time to play, and it's my job. So you know, I'm always amazed that everybody manages to do it when it's not their job. So it is hard. You know, it's because I don't know about you, but it can feel, I do feel that you're a bit like this. For me, it can feel like it's something for me. So I almost feel like some guilt to do with like the fact that I'm just playing my harp and I'm not doing something with someone else or for something else or something I should be doing. But you know, it's really important for us. We look after ourselves too. So if it's something that you want to do, you know, it's just somehow, you know, I'm working on this myself, but it's like finding time for ourselves, isn't it?
I actually, that's my aim, because I want to learn to chill out, not to be pressurized, pushed, doing things because I feel I have to.
Yes.
You know, I'm 75. I think I don't know how many more years I've got. I want to enjoy my
time. Yeah.
I don't want to be pushed anymore. But it's difficult.
Well, and you know, we have a lifetime of whatever's come before that's kind of stops us necessarily being able to
with me, it was always work at home from a little child. Work came first before you could enjoy yourself. And I need to learn to enjoy myself.
Yes,
and
definitely.
that's why I'm keeping to do the swimming, because I enjoy the swimming.
Yes,
but it takes time out. I play tennis, it takes time, but for my health too.
Yes.
You know.
And the harp playing is for our health too.
Yeah, exactly. That's my mental, spiritual,
everything. I mean, like, and physical as well. I mean, the harp is like a great full package of all of that. So it is important we make time for ourselves. And this is good. This is like a therapy session for me. Shelley, take time for yourself. But you know, so I mean, the only thing I have to say on that really is, for me, in the times in my life where it's been very, very, very hard to find regular practice time, I've had to do it early in the morning, and that's the only thing that's worked for me.
Yeah.
Because people aren't, and these days I do it late at night because that's when nobody needs me anymore. And so
how many children have you got?
I have 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how old?
Sebastian is 2 years old and Abigail's 4.
Wow.
So today it's very unusual, but Sebastian has just started doing 2 hours in nursery. He's only just started, so that's why this time slot was good today.
Oh, good.
He's playing with toys and he's been enjoying it, but anyway. It's hard to let go, but anyway, and Abigail's just gone full time into school, so it's going to be very different at home now. They're doing all right considering all the pandemic stuff, and
yes, the other thing. I think.
Bravo, this is going to be beautiful. They're going to love it. One final note on all of the playing. I haven't today talked about technique because I didn't, you've heard me talk.
I know the technique is not that good, but I don't want to to concentrate too
No,
much.
not the right moment. You've heard me talk about the fact we have there's practice that we do and learning, and then there's performance practice, and performance practice is very different. It's where we kind of throw out everything that we can't do, or the things that maybe aren't going to plan, and we just focus on the music itself. And that's what I've done with you today. But just as a little point of reflection moving forwards, you know, I did just gently slip into it at one point, but just keep thinking about those fingers down. And the joined up placing, and watching out for bunny ears. You know, don't worry about it in this piece. Absolutely ignore it. Don't think about it at all until after you've done this concert. Sorry, this playing. You know, this signing the register music. But once that's over, really let's really think about that. Those fingers down and fingers in, okay? Because it's going to help you be more secure in your placing. I promise.
But, you know, with the lower down, it's quite difficult to get it up. My thumb isn't that high.
I can't see your elbow, actually. It'd be really useful if I could see your elbow for this, because I actually can't.
Oh.
Yeah, but now you've had to change your posture. Although that is good. Your elbow is up now. So. Well, that looks really good. Look,
I probably hold it up.
Your thumb up was so good, it's given you a thumbs up. New thing in Zoom, if you've done the update, which you have, if you do thumbs up, it brings up a thumbs up for you.
I didn't know that.
Mine doesn't do it. Look, I can't make it do it at all. But I've obviously got the new setting, and so it's when if your heart position's really good, and that's the first time it's happened in the session, you got your
wow.
You know, it's like a self-checking thing. Oh, it's not doing it now. That was
I haven't done it anymore.
Come back, thumbs up. Okay. Anyway, so often if it's hard to put our thumbs up in the left, you know, sometimes we might have, you know, arthritis or something in our hands that might make our thumbs not go up. But usually what I find is people haven't got their gentle slope with their arm, they haven't got their elbow up, or they're dipping the wrist one way or another. And so, you know, we're always try and be, you know, I play with mine slightly raised. I was taught to play with it completely flat, but I play with my wrist slightly raised. But if you bend it too far, it becomes, you know, your tendons are working a lot harder, aren't they, than they are when they're straight. So that's why I've come to that decision. And then this smooth wrist, if your elbow's down, it's very, very hard to play with things down here, isn't it? Because, you know, you've got no space to do it. Whereas if your elbow's up, your fingers can drop down. So it's all part of the same jigsaw puzzle. If your elbow's down, playing with your fingers down becomes really hard. If you know, the heart. So it's often what we're doing in our shoulder and our elbow that seems to make can make it challenging. So, you know, you could go back to the technique booster course. It's only about an hour and a half of materials, isn't it? And watch through those. And the "Are You Sitting Comfortably" video might be worth looking at as well. But, you know, it's beautiful. You play beautifully, and you've got all these other skills from other past instruments and other instruments that you do. And so it's interesting you said about not being able to find the shapes so easily on the harp. I think this work, you know, working on the shapes in the 12 shapes in Flourishing Harp, and the allowing yourself to think about the colored strings and things as you go, you know, should help with that, because those skills are there. You've just got to unlock them visually on the harp for you. You've got to make the connection between how they looked on the piano or on the keyboard as to how they look on the harp, and then I think they'll just be there, because everything, you know, I can hear your phrasing is coming through, your you know, the way that you're mixing up the rhythm in the left is coming through from what you already know from playing on keyboard. So yeah, it's all there. So there's a few extra tasks for you to think about as well. Brilliant. Beatrice, I shall stop the recording now, and
yes, thank you.